Hello Logisticians, this is Manpreet this side. Thank you for the love and support for my first video. This is my second one and today we are going to discuss about what is supply chain management. So let's start the discussion. So what is supply chain management? Before we start discussing what is supply chain management, let us start discussing what is supply chain. Supply chain is a process in which you deliver the goods and services from one point to other. And what is then supply chain management? Supply chain management is how you will manage that flow of goods and services. So let us discuss what are the stages in supply chain. That means who will be the person who will touch your goods and services. So basically the stages of supply chain management will be starting from the supplier, because they are the producer or they will give you the raw material. Then the manufacturers, then goes to the distribution centers, then the retailer and the wholesaler, as well as at the end the customer and the consumer. So these are the stages of supply chain. Whereas when it comes to the supplier or the vendor, they are known as the upstream process. Till the consumer and the customer, they are known the downstream process. Now, as we have discussed that who all will touch your product, let us discuss that how the product will flow and what functions will your product touch. So basically, what is the product flow? The product flow starts from sourcing as one first function, then goes with the procurement, from the procurement, manufacturing, inventory and warehousing. All the three are done together. Whereas comes the forecasting, which is a simultaneous job, and then you have logistics and transportation. All of them are supported by IT as well as your information flow management. Okay, so let us discuss the drivers and functions of supply chain. First and foremost, what is the difference between the drivers and functions? Drivers are those aspects which give you functions, which are driving your functions. So basically, what are the drivers? The drivers are sourcing, pricing, inventory, facility, transportation and information. So, and then what are the functions? The functions are procurement, inventory, warehousing, forecasting demand, transportation and logistics, and information management. Don't worry, in my further videos, I will explain them all in detail. So now, when we know the drivers, we know the functions, we know the process, what is the objective of supply chain? Basically, the objective of supply chain is to generate overall value generation of your product. And how you can generate it? It depends upon your decision as supply chain manager. So, what are the stages when you need to take the decisions? Or there are, you can say all of them, but on bifurcating it, it can be defined under three basic stages. The first stage is the making of strategy and design. When you are designing your supply chain, at that time you need to make a decision. Secondly, when you are planning it, that means when you are making sure which functions will be done by whom at that stage. And then the third is operating, when it is processing. If there is any issues in the process, then who will be the person who will take in charge? What are the measures you are going to take? All of them is your decision phase. Now, how the supply chain management is driven, that means how it is processed. What is the process of supply chain? How you can see the process of supply chain? So basically there are two views I have explained in this PPT. There are many views as well, but these are the two very simplest and easy to understand. The first view is known as the cycle view, and it states that all the functions have a cycle, and only if the cycle is completed, the other cycle is moved. That is, first the sourcing and procurement cycle will be completed, only then the manufacturing cycle will start and will be completed, and so forth and so on. Whereas the second view is known as the push and pull view. This is a view in which it is not as per the cycle, but it is said that it is like a flow, it is like a force in which it depends upon the manufacturing unit as well as on the basis of customer. If the customer is pulling the product, then the manufacturing unit will start making it, and if the manufacturing unit have made the product, then the manufacturing unit will distribute it rigorously, to make sure the consumer and the customer gets the product. So when there is a push from a manufacturing procurement, supply chain, in the supply chain, manufacturing procurement replenishment cycle, it is known as push process. When there is a pull on the basis of customer order cycle, it is known as a pull process. Let us study what are the issues in supply chain. So basically, what are the basic issues? This is broadly categorized, and there can be many more issues, but this is broadly categorized under your distribution network configuration, that you are very confused where your warehouse distribution center should be. Your sourcing, that is, you are not able to find your best supplier or the vendor, or you're not able to categorize your vendor. Outsourcing strategy, that means you are not able to understand that what will be the process functions which I can operate in less cost, or better we can outsource it. And the fourth and foremost is supply chain integration. Over here, supply chain integration is further bifurcated under 4 stages. The first stage is known as the baseline stage, that is deciding that who will be responsible, in short. Secondly, the functional stage, which functions will be responsible. Third is the internal stage, that how the internal communication and the flow will be maintained. And second, the external stage, how the external flow will be maintained. All of this will be further briefed in my future videos. Do let me know if you want any of the particular concept to be explained in depth. So now let us study that how we can achieve a fit strategy for our organization. To achieve a fit strategy for an organization, we should first and foremost understand the demand and supply concept. When we are talking about understanding the demand, basically the demand can be categorized under 3 sections. Categorized or not categorized, depend. But it can be named under 3 sections: certain demand, implied uncertain demand, and uncertain demand. When you know your supply as well as your demand, then you come down to the other aspect of achieving strategic fit, that is understanding your own capabilities as a supply chain manager. That in your organizations, what are the capabilities you can achieve and how you can achieve. Basically, broadly categorizing again into how responsive your supply chain are and how efficient your supply chain is. So once you are known about your responsiveness, your efficiencies, certain demand, implied uncertain demand, at that time you can actually find the zone of strategic fit. You can fill the gap in. So that is how you can achieve the strategic fit. So this is in short about supply chain management. All the aspects what we have discussed over here will be further discussed in my future videos. Do let me know what particular functions you want to discuss more, so that I can post the video on it. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Have a nice day.